Now, those who've ignored or even worse, encouraged open borders for years, they're finally having to deal with what open borders means.
So when you look at the story that we're telling of the U.S. and the Holocaust, you understand that the time to save a democracy is before it's lost.
I also was a little bit perplexed when I heard that the president is scrambling to get his cabinet together to try to address the fact that you have governors who are helping to relocate illegal aliens to sanctuary cities.
Children Governor Abbott abandoned in Martha's Vineyard, the children that Governor DeSantis abandoned as well, deserve better.
Well, what we're doing is, and so we got the $12 million for the legislature thanks to these guys, and honestly, I have to say, on a bipartisan way, almost every Democrat voted for our $12 million for relocation. They're complaining now, but they all voted for it. But the problem is that they're coming in through with like 3 people in a car, and they go through. It's hard for us to know because they're just coming into the state like any other car. So there's not a big movement. So they've been in Texas identifying people that are trying to come to Florida and then offering them free transportation to sanctuary jurisdictions. And so they went from Texas to Florida to Martha's Vineyard with a flight. There's also going to be buses, and there will likely be more flights. But I'll tell you this. The legislature gave me $12 million. We're going to spend every penny of that to make sure that we're protecting the people of the state of Florida. I saw somebody on CNN try to say, sending 50 illegal aliens to wealthy Martha's Vineyard is reminiscent of the Holocaust. And I just thought to myself, has the world gone totally mad? I mean, these are voluntary transportation that they're signing up for, but they're given a good ride, they're given everything, and that's just, it's a humane thing to do. It's only when you have 50 illegal aliens end up in a very wealthy, rich sanctuary enclave that he decides to scramble on this. And so instead of scrambling and worrying about a bunch of rich people and having 50, and oh, by the way, they already bust them out. They're gone. They said we want everyone, no one's illegal, and they're gone within 48 hours. And so why not actually look at what's going on? There were more Acela corporate journalists in Martha's Vineyard today than have ever gone down to the southern border to look what's going on. Why don't you go down there and look what some of those communities have to deal with every day?
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too shabby. Where's this going tonight?
Actually, it's up to them. I don't know.
Nice.
I wanted to give you that so
okay.
that you know. We're going to the first stop, Delaware, and then Virginia.
Delaware and Virginia with this set? How many on this bus?
There should be 30.
30 total?
30, yeah. I need a double check.
You're on a secure facility here, and we don't really know anything, and we're in charge of security. So that's hence where we're having a problem here.
I initially, when I asked for the money, thought Biden was going to be busing because, he has sent midnight flights all around this country. They're complaining about one nice flight or 2 flights into Martha's Vineyard. He will dump people in the middle of the night without anybody knowing. They've done it in Florida, they've done it in New York, they've done it in other parts of the country. And so we were anticipating that. In reality, what the federal government's been doing, they're just abandoning these people. So these are people that are just kind of left high and dry. A lot of them are trying to hitchhike. Some of them will pay smugglers to bring them into different states.
We don't tell them where we're going. Like I said, a lot of this is just...
No, I get it. Like I said...
stuff that we don't tell people. Because what we don't want to do is attract attention. We don't want the media.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even know where we're going when they tell us.
Yeah.
That we work in a coordinated fashion, that we work in partnership. The governor has chosen not to coordinate his efforts with us, and that's a lost opportunity, and it's creating a disruption in different parts of this country.
Island. Oh, woe is me. We had a couple of plane loads of people come into our neighborhood of $10 million houses. We have a housing shortage already. Crimea River up there on the island, and the same thing for Chicago and New York and Washington.
Yeah, technically, we're not supposed to show IDs or anything like that. Like I said, everything's supposed to be hush-hush. But you know what? If I show you my ID and I'm up front with you, the next time you see me, hey, I know who he is.
Yeah, it's easy.
See what I'm saying?
And if you don't, I could just not let you out.
Now, here's some perspective from the truly inhumane left. The border town of Del Rio, Texas, we did reports there years ago, has a population of just under 36,000 people. And in the month of July, nearly 50,000 crossed the border into their town.
So when Biden is flying these people all over the fruited plain in the middle of the night, I didn't hear a peep out of those people, okay? I didn't hear a peep. But even just the sheer volume of people, when you impose that on communities, that's massive cost to just the social system, education, healthcare, public safety, all those different things get very, very taxed. And you saw that in stark relief when one of the wealthiest enclaves in America, indeed the world, said they didn't have the resources to deal with 50 people. Well, how do you think some of these border towns feel?
At some point in time, they have to move from here to somewhere else, right? We don't have the services to take care of 50 immigrants, and we certainly don't have housing. We're in a housing crisis as we are on this island, and so we can't house everyone here that lives here and works here. We don't have housing for 50 more people.
Well, now I think we've seen with New York City and D.C., when they used to beat their chest when Trump was in office saying they were sanctuary jurisdictions, and then the minute Texas starts buzzing there, then they get very bent out of shape about it.
I don't care whether it's military or not, it don't matter to me. Just got to know who people are.
Yeah.
So the way TSA and stuff work is, we're supposed to have a certain designated amount of people for each, TSA chaperone. Well, there's 60 kids out here. There's 2 guys.
But since Biden became president, we've had 400,000 people come into that sector of a city of 37,000. That would be like sending 80 million people to New York City, 10 times their population. Give us enough time and we'll send enough buses.
But I got 12 million for us to use, and so we are going to use it, and you're going to see more and more, but I'm going to make sure that we exhaust all those funds, because I think it's important. I think people want to see that we're actually standing up and trying to protect the state against Biden's really, really reckless policies.
If I didn't, I'm just going to follow the administration's playbook. You'll know when they get there. They didn't tell the folks on Long Island when the planes arrived at 2 in the morning and tried to hide it.
All we're trying to do is offer transport to sanctuary jurisdictions free to the alien, but certainly not mandatory. And that way they're able to go, and these sanctuary jurisdictions can put their money where their mouth is. They can provide the resources. They can do all of that. And then once that happens, the chance of folks coming to Florida is probably very, very low. So, we have a lot of refugees, and we have people that come from Cuba, they end up in the Keys, and they're seeking asylum, and a lot of them have valid claims. But I think what's happening is the asylum process is being abused because they're trained by activist groups to claim asylum. So you'll have people that are in a whole bunch of safe countries, and they keep going from one safe country to the next, and then try to make an asylum claim in the United States. That's not how it works.
At least this one's going to go too far. The last time, one of the buses was going to Michigan and to Illinois.
Yeah, where's this one going?
Stopping in Pittsburgh. This one, I don't know exactly which one's going up.
Where's the bus driver? Just got out? What's going on, brother?
The governor of California sent a letter to the Department of Justice saying you need to prosecute Texas and Florida governors, and all I can say is I think his hair gel is interfering with his brain function.